Game Guy with co-host and local gamer Will.
Yep.
Not much, dude. So, quick change of plans. ignore the previously seen title / thumbnail. It just so happens that Wizards was so kind to grace us with the rest of their upcoming set. So we have Tarkir Dragonstorm in full, just not on Scryfall. We're missing 12 or 13 cards. Luckily, none of them are making the cut today. And why is that, Will? Because we don't talk about bracket 1 cards on this channel. Actually, that's not true.
We don't talk about mid cards except for Seedborn Muse.
Yeah, only but she's brought up all too often. No, so normally when we take a look at sets on this channel, it is from the perspective of Commander players. So if you do play the format and we're interested in picking up new singles, by golly, this is a format that's been going on for a while, and there's a lot of singles that you probably don't need to include in your decks. So we're only going to cover the ones that are not going to shake up the format, but should do well
Considered.
Some of them are pretty good. Sometimes, when something like Thassa's Oracle is introduced, it shakes up the format. But we're going to be talking about singles that can go into the 99 that are good and or replace previous effects and or, in some instances, shake up the format. What we won't be talking about, however, are legendaries from the perspective of them being in the CZ. There might be some legendaries that make their way into the body of the 99 of some decks. Stay tuned for our legendary tier list concerning Dragonstorm Tarkir. The opposite.
Tarkir Dragonstorm.
Yeah. All right, Will. How was your week?
Twas good. Nothing chaotic, nothing crazy. Today I just had a call on the system that was a weird one, and I'd answer a lot of questions there, but customer's a good guy, so even though it was like a bit of extra work, I'm cool with him, so cool guy. Cool to talk to him.
Nice. Yeah, I got to take today off because I need to go in over the weekend to help film I'm doing all of the filming and production for a series of testimonials at my job. So I am going to come in Sunday. So I got a little early break time, which I didn't. I woke up. Okay, so Will, for your information, for the audience, that's a poster of the guy Chris back there. I'm a big fan of Monster Hunter. He's actually coming out in Monster Hunter Wilds with the next free bonus content pack. I went to bed at 4, and then I woke up and then I played more Monster Hunter because I haven't really given myself that much time since I bought the game to actually play the game. My gosh, Will. Yes, I've beaten everything and I'm killing the same monsters again. It's so enjoyable. I love the game. That's what I've been doing. I need to step away from that because my goal today technically was to organize all this stuff you see behind me. I bought some organizers and put all the bulk aside that needs to be traded in, yada yada yada. So I'm gonna do that later. But before all that, we've got a juicy set to cover. Will, do you want to cover how we will be discussing these cards before we jump into it?
Well, kind of basic standard. We went on to Scryfall, organized it in color order. This is going to be both the Commander set and the regular standard set. And we're just bringing up all cards that we see as relevant, excluding cards that are relevant in the command zone.
Correct. So Will has a comprehensive list. I'm going to let you lead for every color. We can talk about every card. Obviously, as we go through these colors, if there's something you want to talk about in particular or something we missed, these are live streams for a reason. You can bring it up in the chat and we can talk about it. And obviously, if you're watching this as a VOD, once this is released, and we are just wrong about a card or completely missed a card or completely right about a card, feel free to let us know. Because obviously we would love to play with all of the functionally good new cards from the set for Commander. Okay. Take it away, sir.
And yes, I'm leading this time as opposed to Patrick leading because I completely missed the fact that on Wizard's schedule, today was the last day for spoilers. So I was like, oh, they're probably going to do 1 or 2 next week and then it's all done. No. This is the last day and I completely missed that. So yeah. I didn't let Patrick know ahead of time until today. an hour or two before the stream when I was like, oh, are they done?
You know what's funny though? Like historically, Will, I feel like we've covered the same. It's rare that we discuss a card that the other person doesn't.
It's each color will have like one or two different, but most of the time we're like, yeah, no, you covered my list perfectly. Let's go on.
Mm-hmm. And this is again all the more reason why you're participating live. So thanks for viewing. Obviously, let's start with white.
Yep. I'm starting off with one that you know very well, Patrick, and I know
It's
that you're
right there.
quite hyped about.
He might be in the
And it
new
is
thumbnail.
Clarion Conqueror. I'll let you cover this because I know you like this card.
Oh, for sure. And again, guys, I am sorry if you came here for a Shiko and Narset video. Yes, we will do more legendary, not tier lists. We're going to be doing a tier list tomorrow, but we will be covering more legendaries in their own commander decks soon. Ignore the description stating that this has anything to do with Shiko and Narset. Okay. Clarion Conqueror. For 2 generic and a white, 3/3 body, all challengers were summarily silenced. Flying. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. All right, so I just want to state off the bat, if I opened up a card that was 3 mana, specifically 2 generic and a white, flying 3/3 at like a pre-release, I'd be stoked. That's a really good card. 3 mana, 3/3 flyer, great. On top of that, dragon, sweet. We know that dragon tribal is bracket 1. But the ability tacked onto this guy, man, just put Collector Oof to shame. Now, I understand that this is 1 mana more than the average effect like this. This is better than pretty much all those effects. Like
It is so more brutal. Like, it is much more brutal.
Yeah, like a null rod's great. I get it. It's still run your null rod. I think that Collector Oof still has a home in green list. White, I'm so glad that white is sort of collecting these great stacks pieces for itself, because it needs this to one, functionally maintain its identity, but 2, these are just really good in a multiplayer setting. Obviously, if you are operating with a list that incorporates this, you'll have plenty of ways to play around this. It's a good card. I don't think I need to explain why. It shuts off a lot. Obviously, you could still cast Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation, but getting there is going to be that much more difficult for your opponents.
It is a good card.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just funny because, before this, we weren't even thinking of anything that could stunt like a Tevesh or a Jeska from the CZ. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're done.
A little extra bit spiteful.
Yeah. It's so funny. They get rid of your Drannith Magistrate, and then you play this. It's like, oh my god.
Cool, I can play my Thrasios, and it's a 1/3.
Yeah.
I can't even attack into you because you're gonna block with your 3/3 flyer.
Precisely. Also, if you haven't seen the art, it's in the thumbnail, but damn, there's good art for this. Also, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time, apart from tokens that have had like double-sided creatures, this is the first time we've gotten a card that's, to my knowledge, the same card, but kind of tells a story. So it's like the child and the adult form of this Clarion Conqueror. It's so cool. I don't know why we haven't done this sooner. Shout out to Wizards for thinking of that. Really
Probably
like it.
because it makes it more difficult to play cards unsleeved. So they're like, we want to not run transform cards as much as possible, including fancy art.
Don't you technically have to run sleeves anyways? Like, I feel like most games, if you're playing,
like if you're drafting or something,
right, you need to run sleeves, and they can't be identifiable either. But yeah, it's so dope.
This is cool. This is nice.
Yeah. So what's next, Will?
Your opponent tries killing your Clarion Conqueror, and then you just go, but it's just a baby. But it's just a baby. Heartless monster. You're killing a baby.
You know what's funny? That'd be kind of cool to get like a Phoenix that was like that, where it's just like a baby in the ash and then like the bird.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be good.
My next card, though, and I want to say we're covering stuff that's more relevant for CDH. There is a good amount of cards from this set that are relevant in a whole bunch of other contexts, but we're kind of covering the CEDH stuff more. My next one is Sun Pearl Kieran.
Sun Pearl?
Sun Pearl Kieran. It's 1 and a white for a 2/1 Flash Flying Kieran, and it says when this enters the battlefield, return up to one other target non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. If it was a token, draw a card. This is just another white main lion. It hits any permanent you control. Tashar wants every single one of these effects that Tashar can run, and also Chulane cares about these effects as well. This is just another tool for that arsenal.
It's one target you control. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Like, I had nothing to add to that.
Yeah, nothing crazy. This is a good tool for 2 very specific decks. Card is mid. Lower side of mid, but mid.
Otherwise, it's cool. Otherwise, is that the weather light in the background?
Wait, hold on. Is that?
It looks kind of like it.
No, is that? Oh, forget. I'm opening this up in a new tab so I can zoom in as much as possible.
This is less relevant, but
I think we have not a vehicle, but like a ship in this set. But if that is the weather light, that's freaking cool.
Were you gonna say Tempest Hawk?
My next card though is not on the list, but I will bring it up for honorable mentions. Tempest Hawk. So this is not on my list, but I do want to bring it up just because it's a cool card. White got another. You can run any number of this card in your deck cards, and this one's pretty good because yeah, it's a 3-mana 2/2, kind of bad. But when it connects, you get a copy of it from your deck to your hand, and you can run any number of them. So if you find one, you will slowly find all of them, and that is exponential draw in white. So if you're playing a deck that cares about casting a bunch of creatures, this is good.
Right.
Weirdly enough.
What's the I mean, I guess you can use anything that would multiply that trigger, right? Give it an additional trigger. And or Thrumming Stone just finds the same named card. I know there are like rat decks that want to do that. I guess you could do something with Tempest Hawk and Thrumming Stone.
My thing is, you don't even need to do Thrumming Stone with Tempest Hawk, because it's inevitably going to get there by itself. Thrumming Stone just speeds it up. But there's at least a couple people who have brought up using this with Chulane, because you can just play this in Chulane, run like 20 of them, and then keep hitting creatures to play off Chulane, ramping more, and beat people down, and then you're just playing control at that point. Like, you just play Tempest Hawk and all of the interaction and stacks pieces, and then you just go, take 20, get more 10 more Tempest Hawks, play a couple of them, ramp a couple lands, pass turn holding up like 4 mana.
Wait, did you just bring up Chulane twice?
Yes, apparently. Okay. I completely forgot that we just brought up Chulane with Sun Pearl.
Wait, Wolf, why did you buy sleeves for someone? You can explain. Carry on. Yeah, we're
no. I totally understand that, Wolfsbane. Fair. There's a guy in my play group who he played sleeveless, and then I needed to pick up a card from a store for one guy, and I just went, fuck it, grabbed sleeves, and I'm like, sleeve up your freaking deck.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're talking about what we were just previously talking about. Yeah, I always forget to bring my sleeves to pre-releases, and I love playing sealed, and I love playing pre-release, but like
this was not pre-release. This was me playing Commander with a buddy, and he never sleeves any of his decks. And
does he run MDFCs?
He doesn't run MDFCs, but I'm just like, everybody else's sleeve, just sleeve up your deck for the love of God.
So these for $10. That's so weird. I mean, like, even if you don't necessarily care about your cards, it's just easier to shuffle that way and let people cut your deck. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would bother me too much to not. I double sleeve, obviously, because I'm a freak like that. But, Will, I feel like you're going to bring up Voice of Victory. I'm just going to cut to the
100%.
chase.
That is my last card.
Okay.
Voice of Victory. 1 and a white for a creature human bard with 1 power and 3 toughness, and mobilize 2. Mobilize keyword. Whenever this creature attacks, create 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior tokens. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step.
Poo.
And then the other part of this card, your opponents cannot cast spells during your turn.
So let's start with the fact that if your deck runs Skull Clamp or anything that cares to sacrifice a token and or, non-land permanent.
Zot.
Precisely. If only they were Thrall warriors. So this is really good. They don't go away at the end of combat, right? So because of the way that Mobilize is structured, you do have access to them the whole turn. So this is really good in decks like mono white, not so much, unless you're on a bunch of artifacts that do care to ramp potentially off of these, like Ashnod's Alt or something like that. But even just including black and incorporates a lot of cards, utility cards that you'll commonly see or use, right, as additional cost sacrifice creature, whatever purpose. But again, Skull Clamp is like the main to do for that. No one really cares though, because your opponents can't cast spells during your turn.
It's another Grand Abolisher, and also weirdly enough, it is technically a 2 mana 3/5 Grand Abolisher. Now, granted, they can activate abilities, but like silence. It's basically silence.
Right. It's kind of nutty when you put it that way, Will, because like normally when you see effects like this, there's a little bit more downside. I don't know. It's just good all over. But yeah, you're right. It's presenting 3/5 worth of value off of one generic, one white card. Maybe one of the better permanent silence effects we've seen in a long time. It's like very good. The last one we got was Kutzel, the Selesnya one.
I believe so.
You guys remember from Rivals of Ixalan, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, we got Kutzel, who's 3 CMC, right?
Yeah, there's still the 4 mana one we got was earlier than Kutzel. So yeah, I think Kutzel's the most recent. Yeah, it is.
Kutzel's probably still worth running, just being tutorable with some of those green tutors.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And I will say the other things for Voice of Victory, Derevi, just when those warriors connect, untap more things. Najeela, when those warriors connect, get more warriors. And then there's a couple things where people wanted to see if they could do something with this in Winota, which not really. You need extra combats to make that work, but I respect the effort of trying.
Yeah, I think that the obvious inclusion is Najeela. Like, obviously, this is going to go in Najeela. You'll make a spot for this, and you need to make a spot for this. Make a spot for this in Najeela. If you play at a competitive level, if you don't care about that and you just want your shit to go off, man, this is good. You put this down early, and it's like, oh, God, am I gonna waste my removal for the potential threat of them doing something really bad on their turn? Right, that's the question you need to answer anytime one of these hit. Because sometimes someone will play a Grand Abolisher, and it's like 5 or 6 turns later, and nothing has happened from them. Right, like they had a dud of a hand, and this just sits there. This is like a value added version of that. Obviously, Grand Abolisher hits a few more things, but I played against a guy who played a deck with probably 10 different kinds of sleeves, some unsleeved.
No. I played against a guy who got a new Oh no, sorry, you're reading the other one. Sorry, my bad.
No, you can read Wolf's Bane.
No,
you can interrupt me. That's insane. Do you sleeve your cards? And why should you?
A new poll? I feel like nearly everybody sleeves their cards.
Well, I mean, a lot more people are saying they don't than I realize, or at least they played against people that don't. Because he got a new werewolf deck, but he didn't buy any sleeves, and I didn't have any money to buy new ones. It was bothering me. How nonchalant.
For a second, I thought you did the streamer cutoff thing where you were reading that Wolf's Bane's message, but then you cut off like a little bit of the first part, and I'm like, whoa, no. He built a werewolf deck. Half of those cards are two-sided.
I love that, dude. Can you imagine? He's like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to pull from next.
See, that's a funny thing. My friend had a, the Fire Song and Sunspeaker. He had a Fire Song and Sunspeaker deck, and we had a funny moment where somebody Chaos Warped his Fire Song and Sunspeaker, and he had his commander in a different sleeve. So what happened was he had to shuffle he decided to shuffle his commander into the deck because it cost 12 at that point from
Right.
a command zone. And then he offered me cuts, and I look at his deck and I see like red sleeves, purple sleeve, red sleeves, and I went purple sleeve on top, chaos warp. Oh my gosh! It was casual, it was for fun, and everybody had a good laugh about that. But
Right.
it was just like, hey,
and
fair
this is
enough.
and this is why, and this is how people cheat. Okay, this is why you need no identifiers in your deck. Otherwise, I will call a judge. All right, Will. I think that's it for white. Unless you want to talk about Will of Mardu, a Way Speaker bodyguard.
No, it's I want to say one last thing for Voice of Victory. Voice of
Oh,
Victory is still a really good Winota card, just for the fact that it's a human. So if you cheat it in if you cheat it in with Winota, no one can respond. Like it's just you wanted to react like maybe board wipe before taking combat damage. You can't cast spells.
yeah. I'm gonna go one further and say, Voice of Victory is a good card.
Yeah, it will be seeing about as much play as Grand Abolisher. Less than it probably, but about as much.
And a lot more than Winota. much
Yes.
much more than just Winota. All right, Will. Gang, actually, I hand it off to you guys. If there's anything in white that we missed or you want to talk about, please let us know. And obviously, there are going to be a few cards missing from Scryfall that are in the set. So if you do ask about something that isn't here, that's why. But yeah, blue.
Yeah, we can move on to blue, and I have two for blue, and they're basically the same kind of thing. Deceptive Frostkite.
What's so deceptive about this Frostkite?
Because he's secretly a big boy.
Ooh, he looks like a Naga, but flies like a dragon.
Nagas don't exist, Patrick. It's all in your mind.
They
It's like
do
the
here.
Berenstein Bears thing.
They do here. Berenstein Bear. Wait,
does the Monopoly Man wear a monocle, Patrick?
I want to say yes, but no.
Yeah, he does not.
So someone literally just did a sketch on it's the Daily Show where she dressed up like the Monopoly guy, quote unquote. She had a top hat and a monocle. Does he have a monocle in his pocket?
So he does not have a monocle. The thing is, like, there's a couple specific things where people misremember something constantly. So there's a conspiracy theory that guy traveled back in time and then he created ripples that changed like key things that people remember, and people remember them differently. It's a funny thing. There's a name for it, and it's very commonly known, so people joke around about it.
Oh.
But I can't for the life of me remember it.
In Ace Ventura 2, when Ace sees that guy at the party and says, "And you must be the Monopoly guy," does that guy have a monocle? I'm wondering if he does, or spectacles, because that might lend to why people think that he has lenses on his face.
Mandela effect. That's what it is.
We're talking about Ace Ventura here.
I'm talking about the Mandela effect.
Well, no one's talking about Deceptive Frostkite, double blue, dragon, 1/1 body, flyer. See, this is what we typically see when you pay mana for flyers. The less stats than their cost. It's insane. You may have this creature enter as a copy of a creature you control with power 4 or greater, except it's a dragon in addition to its other types, and has flying.
What were you saying, Patrick, about paying for stats equal to or
well,
less than?
You put it on the stack, and then I kill the thing, and then you look like an idiot with a 1/1. Okay, well, that flying Naga. Okay, I'm saying it. I don't care that Wizards took Naga out of the game. I still think of Nagas daily. All right. Well, how do you feel about this guy? We're getting a lot of clones. Like, we literally just got the Mockingbird recently, which is a really good one. And before that, we got Fleshy. So how does this rank for you?
This is probably one of the lesser clone effects, only because it can't target opponent stuff, and it has to target something that's 4 or greater. So it's not great, but the reason I wanted to bring this up was because Garuda. People talk about using clone effects in Garuda. Is it, for those who
Dude.
don't know, Garuda is the Dimir companion that says you can only run even cost things.
Right.
And when it enters the battlefield, each player mills 4. Then you may put a creature that was milled this way onto the battlefield under your control, if it's even
Garuda.
cost. The idea with Garuda in CDH is you play Garuda and then you mill a clone effect, entering as a copy of Garuda, milling more, hitting a clone effect, milling more, hitting clone effect, milling more, repeat, 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 repeat.
How do you
So
win?
people are trying to hit critical mass to mill everything out with Garuda and then just pass turn and then the game's over.
Oh, that's cheeky. Unless someone says they do the thing where they gift you a card. And you're like,
Yeah.
shit. I guess I lose first. All right. Snooski says Snooski. We're gonna go with Snooski. He does have a monocle, no top hat though.
Uh,
Stop. I don't know because I don't know. I
he
don't
does
remember.
not have a monocle.
Look, I just saw him in a commercial for Monopoly Go, which is honestly the best way to play Monopoly. If you're gonna buy Monopoly, like any Parker Brothers version, buy Go because it's actually worth it. It's very quick to play, and I think there's expansions on it. We have a copy back here. We take it to the beach all the time. I don't recall if he uses a monocle because he's a fictional character. At any rate, Will.
All I have to say is Google says no. Rich Uncle Pennybags, also known as Mr. Monopoly,
I'm
does
sorry.
not have a monocle.
His name is Rich Uncle Pennybags.
Yes.
Cool.
Also known as the Monopoly Man, or also known as Mr. Monopoly.
I was referring to the Ace Ventura guy, of course. Thank you. Thank you. He does have a monocle. He does have a monocle and no top hat. I think that's why. I think that Jim Carrey, damn you, you brilliant bastard. I think it's because of him. People think the Monopoly guy has a monocle. But it's just a really good movie that made so much of my childhood. I watched that movie so many times. I still think about him sticking his face out of that rhino's ass. Have you watched Ace Ventura 2?
I've not.
Oh my god, Will, you've got homework after this. All right, you should really watch that movie. Just don't look up anything for it. Watch the second one. You can watch the first one afterwards. Courtney.
Well, I
Courtney
do have to
Cox
say
is
though,
in it.
Patrick,
Enjoy
you're
that.
going to be happy with the next card on my list.
Oh yeah. Does that have to do
Naga
with?
Fleshcrafter.
Oh, Naga, you say? Let me check. Let me make sure this is true. Here, I'll read off what it is. A snake shapeshifter. So they're really saying it could be anything. Snakes are anything. Snakes are just like you, me, a flying dragon. That's a 3/3. 3 generic and a blue. 0/0. You may have this creature enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. Okay. Renew. This is new to this, correct? Yeah.
Yep. Renew is pay some mana and then exile this card to do a thing.
And that thing is put a 1/1 counter on target non-legendary creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until the end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Well, that's what we want to be doing. I mean, we don't give a shit about. We don't really care about the other thing. We want to put this in our graveyard. Am I right?
Well, the funny thing is, you can put it in your graveyard by playing it, choosing to not have it enter as a copy of anything, and then it enters as a 0/0 and instantly dies.
Right.
That was something that got brought up. That I'm like, oh, that's funnily enough the thing.
So
you can
it's
do.
never really stuck in your hand, but I don't know that it's advisable to do that. I feel like that's 4 mana is a lot to do that. Obviously, dump this thing with an entomb and win the game however you choose. What's the play line? What are people doing with the new fleshy?
So this depends on what colors you have access to. Because with green, you can make a copy of like any of the when you cast a creature draw effects, or make a copy of Ornn Frostfang and draw a crap ton of cards because everything you control becomes an Ornn Frostfang. If you're in white, you have like a couple weird effects that can help and can get there, but white is not as useful with this card. If you're in red, you have Professional Facebreaker, you have what's it called? The Stormkiln Artisan. You have a couple things that if you make all your stuff a copy of it, you can try to storm off and win.
Mm.
And then if you're in black, you have like weirdly enough Orcish Bowmaster as a thing, because it turns out making like 8 Orcish Bowmasters is a good way to just go, oh, Wheel of Fortune game.
Yeah.
So it has utility in a couple different decks. There's a couple better options that you can probably find, and it's more likely than not just going to be a utility card in a ton of decks.
In Garuda.
Well, I think that a lot of Eureka decks might like this, just for the fact of like, okay, I have like a whole bunch of Ornithopters and stuff into play. Target 1 ninja. All of my Ornithopters and stuff are now ninjas. Swing in, bounce 1, make it Eureka, connect, get a bunch of Eureka triggers. This is just kind of like an interesting card in a couple different decks' tech.
Can you win with Bio Visionary? So it's important to know.
Visionary's token copies, or is it just cards with the same name?
Sir, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures named Bio Visionary, so
yeah,
it's kind of look at he's so proud. He's so proud of his collection. Look at him. He's like, you see that? You see that shit? That was like 10 years combing Facebook Marketplace, trying to get those incubators for clones of myself. You know how long it took?
You see that? Mint condition, fresh out of the box.
You try to cheapskate me. What do you want? $44.99 for a copy of me? No, it's gonna be $50. Dude, you read the listing, right? It said no haggling when you got here.
Serious buyers only.
God, I hate Facebook Marketplace, even though it got me these incubators. Hate it.
Yes, you can win with Biovisionary. That is a very clear Biovisionary win.
That's a very good one too. Thank you for bringing that up.
Also, if you're in mono blue, you can make all your creatures a Displacer Kitten and then cast one thing and then just go boom.
Which trigger first? Yeah. Whoa, man, that's so...
Which triggers first, the snake or the kitten?
Yeah. Which one came first? We don't really know. No one knows. Only God.
Greatest mysteries of the world?
Yeah. Biovisionary. I want that as a playmat. Do you see his beard too? Like, he's got a really nice beard going.
All right, that is it for blue for me. It's just the 2 clone effects.
I don't know about those pustules on the shoulder, though. Sorry. Yeah, just the 2 clone effects seems good to me. I heard there's new counters, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to try to give you people ideas.
The counters that people have are like the meme ones. They're not actual good counters.
You don't want to talk about Essence Anchor, my guy?
Hold on, did I miss something relevant?
Not really. No, not really. It's like
no, that's not relevant.
Yeah. It's pretty cool though.
It's beginning of your upkeep. You could surveil 1. You could tap this and then make a 2/2 zombie, but activate only during your turn. Only if something left your graveyard this turn. It's surveil 1 every turn.
So I thought that red is Flesh Start, the card right next to it, and I thought for a hot second that we had like an aura that made flesh duplicates of things. I was super excited.
It could never be.
They'd never make a card that powerful. All right, guys, if there's anything in blue you want to discuss, please let us know, or forever hold your peace.
We can start on black and then hop back to blue if people want to talk about stuff. So
you're gonna make
move on to black.
A little black and blue action. Ooh, that voracious bibliophile is beautiful. Sorry, like this is a card I would pull and be like, shit, I kind of want to play this game. I do already, so I don't have to...
yeah, well, you're not going to pull that from a pack because that's from the commander set. That's also a card that I was thinking of adding for blue, but like it's when you cast a spell that targets 1 or more things, draw that many cards. It's Nadu at home, but you can't have it in your command zone, so it's just awkward.
Yeah. All right.
Going to black. This card is not on my list, but I do want to bring it up just because I know a lot of people are going to like this card. Avenger of the Fallen.
You're wrong about it, but, I'll talk about it.
Avenger of the Fallen is 2 and a black for a creature human warrior with Death Touch, 2 power, and 4 toughness. And it has Mobilize X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. If you can do funny Hermit Druid stuff with this in Anger, you can also just make like a decent board. It also gives you a whole bunch of sack fodder to play with. It probably won't see CDH play except for like a meme deck here and there, but funny.
2/4 Death Toucher.
That makes a board. 2/4 Death Toucher, that makes a board.
Yeah, but like, that with a butt that big, I know you'd really hope for more. X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. That's kind of cool. I mean, especially in a commander setting, just because it could be a lot. But yeah, it's like maybe some
It's
fun.
more going to be a casual bomb than a CDH bomb.
Cheeky Golgari deck.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Hardened Tactician, is this a blue card you want to discuss? Because I will look at it. Oh my god, it's not even blue. It's not even blue, people. Just forget it. Unless I missed it. All right, well, we're
Tactician is multicolor. We are not there yet.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay.
All right. My first card that is actually on my list is way down there because there's a whole lot of bad black cards to start off. But this is a legendary, but you are never playing this as the commander. It is CEDH, Regent of the Mire. So,
Regent of the Mire. Sorry.
For some reason, I heard you say that kind of like Ramses from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh.
Return the slab.
Oh no,
Regent of the Mire.
I was doing Strangers in the Night, but I actually really like that Courage episode, so yeah, we could say that. King Ramses. Sorry.
This CEDH is 1 and a black for 1/3 that says, oh, sorry, it is 1 and a black for legendary creature, zombie, snake, warlock, not Naga, but yes, a Naga. With 1 power and 3 toughness. Tap, sacrifice a creature you control. Oh, so you could sacrifice CEDH with mana value X. Other than CEDH. I will never stop complaining about that phrasing.
Write it better, Will. If you're so smart, write it better.
Sacrifice another creature you control with mana value X. There, good enough. Return target creature card with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. It's a Birthing Pod, but it's with your graveyard instead of your library. It's really good if you're playing any kind of stacks deck or slower game deck or deck that cares about your graveyard. It is not good if you're playing it in the command zone.
No,
really good utility card, though.
Not really. Look at those hooting mandrills, though. I mean, that's enough to make me want to consider it, at least. It's fine. I don't think that, unless you're doing a lot to fill up your graveyard, or realistically using Buried Alive, Entomb, Unmarked Grave, so on and so forth, this ain't gonna cut it.
Only gonna be good if you're hitting the late game or filling your yard a lot.
I do think that, in a limited setting, this is probably a bomb, though. Like, I feel like this will be really good. Like, if they nuke your thing, kill your thing, you bring it back.
It's also gonna be like brutal in some 60 card, probably like standard, because it's just gonna go like, oh yeah, I returned the thing. Oh yeah, I returned the thing. Oh yeah, I returned the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I sacrificed my 2-drop for the freaking Conqueror again and again and again and again. Every time that you kill it, I'm going to bring it back and deactivate my own CEDH until you kill it again, and then it's just gonna come back.
Regent of the Mire, it's okay. I like the Naga statue in the background.
Yeah. But
because that's what that is.
Card, and it's literally the next card. Sinkhole Surveyor. 1 and a black for a 1/3 creature bird scout with flying. Whenever this creature attacks, lose a life, and this creature endures 1. New keyword. Put a +1/+1 counter on it, or create a 1/1 white spirit token. This is just another Bitter Blossom. It's good. Like, if you need bodies, if you're playing a deck that cares about bodies, it's good. Heavy Zot decks might like it just because it gives you a token every turn, so you can just keep uptick drawing, but
it's kind of
just nice.
It's honestly kind of better. Whenever this creature attacks, you lose 1 life and this creature endures 1. Man, that is so good. If you draft this and it sticks turn 2, I would mull just pretty much to play this turn 2
Yeah,
every single game.
like,
Like, this
that
is so stupid.
brutal because it's a 2. When it attacks for the first time, it is swinging for 2, and it keeps getting bigger. It's Leisure Shredder.
I don't know that you even bother with the spirits unless you've got something to do with those bodies, or you want to go wide to like have blockers or something. Like in the late, like once this hits like 4 or 5, I guess you can make spirits so that you can block whatever their board is, because he doesn't give a shit. He's just gonna go sideways every single time to hit face. And again, it's like you're losing 1 life, but they've lost 2, 3, 4, so it's 7, 9. It's like this snowballs really quickly. That's a bomb. That's such a good card. And separately, I'm sorry. Yes, Will's right. Bitter Blossom's a card. There are plenty of cards that create like token goblins on upkeep, and Bitter Blossom's fairies. I think they're like flying with Death Touch.
Just flying.
Are they just flying 1/1s? Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, again, it is like another variation of that. This has a little bit more utility, on top of the fact that it's a little bit more removable, but that's, not the end of the world. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. Seems decent in a Lurus deck too. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's for the previous one. That was typed for the CEDH.
Oh, CEDH's nuts right here. Yeah, that makes sense.
CEDH
it has
brings
to be
back
activated.
Lurus, and Lurus brings back CEDH, so you just keep going.
Oh, that's fun. Maybe we bring it out. Maybe we do that. All right.
Next one, Taval's Judgment. I'm not a fan of this card, but I know a lot of people are a fan of this card.
God will stop pandering to these people. Just kidding. No,
these plebeians.
So these plebs only speak of the cards they'll play. I don't know where this accent's coming from.
2 and a black for an enchantment. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, choose one that has not been chosen this turn. It's Monument to Endurance, but reverse.
Yeah, did we just
create a
get
treasure
this
token?
card?
Literally the 2 things that Monument of Endurance does. But finally, create a zombie token.
But zombie druid, sir. Druid.
Black zombie druid, sir.
Not just any zombie druid.
Creature, sir.
And it's a token. Don't be mistaken. Monument to Endurance is a little bit better, but I think it's an outlet. Like, can't you just win? It's obviously, you can only do it. It's the same thing. You can only do it the once.
Yeah, dealing damage is usually a little bit better than creating tokens if
in
you're
a multiplayer
trying to do it like really quickly.
Multiplayer,
but they're both useful. So
the same deck that's going to use Monument to Endurance from Ether Drift. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, check out the Ether Drift review. We cover everything. But yeah, this is good. This is pretty dumb. I like it. Like, stop complaining about not having value. You want value? Here, take it. It's in a commander set. There's a big Naga in the background. There's a Naga standing in front of it. Enjoy. Okay.
Next one doesn't have a Naga, Patrick. It's the Sibsig Cemetery.
Sibsig Ceremony? Sibsig Cemetery.
Ceremony, sorry. Yeah, Sibsig Ceremony. Black. Legendary enchantment. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast.
That's not bad.
Whenever a creature you control enters the battlefield, if you cast it, destroy that creature, then create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token.
Hey! More reasons to buy the tokens.
Yeah. The obvious downside of this card is you are not keeping your stuff around for long. The upsides are, if you do it on an indestructible creature, it does nothing. But more importantly, it is a triggered ability, and it does not say if the creature is destroyed, create a zombie token. That is relevant because you can play Razaket the Foulblood with a reanimate effect, keeping it around, and then just start playing creatures for basically free and then getting free bodies that you can also sack to do stuff. And that sounds like you're never going to do that in a CEDH deck, but Keurig is a thing. And Keurig would let you play this enchantment for 6 life, and then make it so you don't have to pay the generic for any of your creatures, meaning that you can do the thing. And then in addition to that, you want most of your creatures in your grave because you want to reanimate them later. So this is just another really good card for Keurig.
Whenever a creature enters, if you cast it, destroy that creature. Then, there's a lot of commas here. Then create a 2/2. So a creature doesn't need to be destroyed this way to create a 2/2 Black Zombie Druid creature token.
Correct.
Can you just use this with like Leon and Relic Water?
It didn't get cast.
Well, whenever a creature enters, trigger.
If it was cast.
So
then destroy it and create the zombie.
The way it's phrased and like the way those things are separated, it makes me think that a creature could enter with a reanimate effect. This would trigger and be like, was that thing cast? No? Then you don't need to destroy it. But you do create a 2/2 Black Zombie creature.
It is reliant on because it's so destroy awkward. That creature, then create the zombie token. So
all right,
it is still contingent on the fact that it would trigger off the ting.
Sipsig Ceremony and Ace Rack CEDH deck. You remember that guy?
I do not off the top of my head.
It's the venture into a dungeon dude. He's gonna.
Oh yeah, that's the zombie guy. Yeah, this was brought up as I do know this. So the combo with him is if you have any way of making paying for the black off of him, you just keep bouncing him and then keep going. So the combo with him is you have Phyrexian Altar and Sipsig Ceremony, and then you play him, have his trigger resolve first, putting him back to your hand, make the zombie, sack the zombie for the black, replay him, and keep going. That's a funny combo. Not too great, but I respect it.
Shout out to Sisig. If you enjoy delicious pork dishes, Sisig, try it. That's all I got to say about that card. Great art too.
And that is everything I have for black. My next would be red. Does anybody want to bring up any black cards that we may or may not have missed?
Tovel's Judgment and Gitrog, probably not good enough. Probably not. Okay. No, there's nothing I want to look at from black. Kind of with you.
All right. Well, we can hop over to red, and I'm going to start off with a card that is technically not red, but it's red. Rune Scale, Stormbrood.
Is it not in red?
It should be in red, but it's technically is it.
Rune Scaled, Stormbrood.
So it is our first Omen card, so I can go over this.
Ooh.
Omen is a card effect that is basically the same as Adventure, except instead of exiling the card and being able to play it later, it gets shuffled back into your library.
All right, Will, do you like Omen or Adventure better? Would you rather have an Omen or go on an adventure?
I would like Omen better if they gave them like more useful effects. Not saying that the Omen effects are bad, but I just want like a gut shot so that I can loop it in Thrasios and I don't need to run the whole loop package. It's just boop, 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 boop.
No,
boop,
no, 100%. I get that. Yeah. Like an outlet, just that recycles itself. 100%.
Yeah,
I get that.
But to read this card, I'm going to start off with the side that doesn't really matter. 3 mana or 3 in red for a 2/4 creature dragon with flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell or a dragon spell, this gets +2/+0 until the end of the turn. The side that matters is called Chilling Screech. 1 in a blue for an instant omen that says counter a spell of mana value 2 or less.
So just like
this is pretty good because it's Spell Snare and Mental Misstep in one card. You can counterspell the 2 mana thing, or the 1 mana thing, or the 0 mana thing, and yes, it hits the Oracle.
It's good. It's really good. It's generic in a blue. I think that it's a really solid counterspell attached to a okay creature. Spell Snare is a good card. Spell Snare is 1 blue though, if I'm not mistaken. It only hits 2 on the nose, so obviously Underworld Breach, Thassa's Oracle, Tainted Pack.
The rune scale
Whatever.
just hits a couple more things, but you still feel sad at the fact that you're paying 2 for what you can sometimes make as a 1-mana effect.
Right, and also, if your deck runs ad nauseum, you're probably kind of hurting from that too, but it's not a bad card. I quite like it. I think we need more omens. I'd like to see more good omens, but
we got a request for a black card, which is a Ython Tomb Guard.
I believe his name is Yathan. He's been made fun of for a long time.
It's
so
not Nathan, it's Yathan, Dad.
Yeah, could you get it right, Will?
2 and a black for a creature human warrior with 2 power and 3 toughness and menace.
Say his name.
Sorry, Yathan has 2 power, Yathan has 3 toughness, and Yathan has menace.
And Yathan could go to hell.
With a counter on it deals damage or deals combat damage to a player. You draw a card and lose a life. Counters matters card. It can draw some cards. In the right deck, this can draw a good amount. I don't know what the right deck is though. Maybe like a Gev deck. Not bad with Gev.
He really does look like he's solo leveling. He really does look like the MC of this world, Yathan. It's kind of cool looking art. Am I wrong? Like, doesn't this look like an indie game that's coming out like this year? And this is the main character we're looking at. And he has a talking suit of armor that's his companion.
I feel like this is more of like the guy who thinks he's all that at the beginning of an anime, and he's the one bullying the protagonist. He's the one that's just like, "You'll never be a professional dungeon runner. You're trash." And then like the hero comes back in like 8 episodes, and then just pub stomps the guy.
Apes the dude. Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, you got menace. You're still a 2/3. Got it. Checkmate." Crushes Yathan. I would love it.
I'm secretly a bird that's been attacking for the past couple turns, and I now have 6 counters on me, so I'm going to wreck your shit.
Dude, yeah, you just saw me on turn 1. Okay, you saw me the turn I was cast. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yo, Yathan, please make this a legendary human warrior one day. Watsy, please give us Yathan, the Tomb Guard. I want to explore his story.
We're gonna have another plane, and like instead of like Yathan being a place, it's just actually gonna be a guy's name.
Exactly.
That's how names work.
I would love. I feel like Yathan would be like the hero of a John Wick style story. I would enjoy that. I see this as a Love, Death, and Robots skit as well. All right, Yathan, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't know Yathan was a place or a name. And I'm gonna insist that it's his name. All right.
I mean, technically Yathan is the name of the place, but we can have like another plane, and then that place isn't there, so a guy could just be named Yathan. Going back to red though, my next card is Jeskai's Will. Sorry, Will of the Jeskai.
Yeah. Get it straight.
It's funny because I spoiled this in my friend group, and I literally did Jessica's Will, and then I did Jeskai's Will with like the star apostrophe thing at the top corner, like correcting it.
Did you Photoshop yourself into this one?
No.
I feel like you'd be the Birdman on the right, who's like about to chop the air. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'd be that dude.
This card says, choose one. If you control your commander, you may choose both instead. Each player may discard their hand and draw 5 cards. So it's a friendly Wheel of Fortune, but it can refill your hand, which is nice, because if you top deck this, you're in great shape. What does the other side do? Oh, each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback until the end of the turn, flashback equal to its cost. Bergie runs every single version of Past in Flames. This is another version of Past in Flames that also refills your hand. This is really good in those Storm decks.
You know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I will refill my hand. Yo, this is pretty good with Bergie. Actually, quite
Bergie,
like this.
Urbrask, both of them really like this. Good card.
Ooh, I miss Urbrask. That was a fun deck.
Yeah, I miss Urabrask in the story because he was the one shield praetor, but I think he's dead as well. Did they spare him? I don't know if they spared him or not.
Sorry, sir. This is Yathan is no country for old praetors.
My final card though, Zenith Festival. X and double red. Exile X cards from the top of your library. You may play those cards until the end of your next turn. Harmonize. X double red. Once again, new keyword. For those who don't know, Harmonize is literally flashback, but you may tap a creature you control as an additional cost and reduce the cost of this card by that creature's power.
That's absurd. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, the reason I brought up this card, if you're playing Dargo, the Harmonize is just a draw 7 for 2 red. If you're playing Rowan Penrith, you're paying 2 red to draw like 7 cards, play those cards, lose more life, untap and tap Rowan a little bit more, then draw 20 cards on the Harmonize side. Because you don't need to tap a creature for Harmonize, it's just an option. But that's a lot of draw. Also, really good card for Prosper and all the other. I care about exile.
Would Zada fool with this? Like, would Zada care to like help him storm by like buffing himself? It's consequential. Like, you kind of just get there though.
Yeah, Zada doesn't really care about it because you more so use
the cantrips. Yeah,
cantrips. Like pay 1, draw a card. Oh wait, no, it's actually draw 7 is more Zada's game.
I mean, you can brick in that deck, but I guess you don't. I guess you're just looking more for density than anything that can bail you out.
You'll dig deeper with a cantrip than you will with the Zenith Festival. But I will say there's several casual decks that Zenith Festival is going to be stupid in. If you're playing Voltron, this is just going to be draw 20 in casual. This feels like it's a mistake for casual, but in CEDH, I think it's just quite good.
I mean, it's printed specifically for casual. Most of these decks are. They haven't started assigning them bracket numbers, to my knowledge, yet. So
they have not. And that is what I had for red. It was just those 3 cards.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Kind of honorary mention as just another card that I saw that I was like, oh, that's kind of good. Dock Brigade. It is 1 in a red for a creature, goblin, soldier with 1 power, 3 toughness, menace, and mobilize 1. That's it. Nothing else, no other fancy things. It's just a goblin that you can get that has mobilize 1 and menace. If you have a deck that cares about sacrificing creatures, mobilize is good at letting you do that. So it's just another make a token that attacks every turn kind of effect.
It's good. Not as good as Yathan, but
not as good as Yathan.
Nothing is. All right, you gonna tell me about this dog druid, Will, or are you just gonna leave me in suspense?
Sadly, the dog druid is not really relevant enough. But if you'd like, we can go over the dog druid.
No, it's okay. I don't know if I like anthropomorphic dog people. Is that bad? Is this the first time we've had anthropomorphic dog people? We have cute dogs.
Patrick showing his bigotry. Dang.
No, I'm just.
We've had werewolves, Patrick.
I'm just not a furry, Will. Okay, I'm not into it. This is a little weird. This man's best friend.
I'm not asking you smash or pass. I'm just saying, would you not hate this guy?
That's what it sounds like to me now. I'm also. Someone got me to watch Beastar. You don't have to watch it.
It's interesting. I've seen enough clips of it where I'm just like, it's a show.
It's a show. You don't need to watch it. It's a show, though. Anyway, we're not talking about Arbor Adherent.
Actually, first card on my list, Arbor Adherent. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Don't make me.
The first card that I have on my list, and this is more of just a fun card because it makes a stupid strategy viable. Laziad Prowler.
Gesundheit.
I know. I was holding it in the entire stream.
Wait,
I had to let it out. 2 green for a creature snake ranger with 5 power and 5 toughness. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may mill cards equal to the number of lands you control. You could fill up your graveyard. Renew for 1 and a green. Exile this card from your graveyard. You put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard. Activate as a sorcery.
Hmm.
Why is this on my list? Funnily enough, mono green Hermit Druid. You can mill your entire deck with this, have like Turn the Earth left in your deck or in your grave so that you can make sure you don't deck out. And then you can Druid's Repository Triskelion back to your hand, play Triskelion, and then put 40 counters on Triskelion. And at this point, if anyone sneezes, you murder them. If no one kills your Triskelion or tries to kill your Triskelion,
You're attacking
now
with
punching
it.
with a 40-40 until you win the game.
It's kind of cheeky. Triskelion, if you guys don't know, it's Walking Ballista.
It's Walking Ballista. It's just that it won't instantly die if you
it's
try.
Chunky Walking Ballista. It's Walking Ballista.
Actually, I said Triskelion because I was thinking of this as a reanimate strategy, but since you're using Druid's Repository, it is better to Ballista. So
either way,
remove what I said, replace it with Ballista. Same concept.
Wipe that from your memory. That horrible
Indeed.
suggestion. Oh my god, Triskelion. Ugh, God. Only if I was playing that one guy in black.
We got
priest.
One.
What's his name? I don't remember. I used to run that combo. At any rate,
I think we got another card that somebody wanted to bring up, and it was
kind of like Stadium Headliner. What?
What is this? Oh, is this? No.
Don't tell me this is monocolor. Or don't tell me that this is a multicolor. I don't see Stadium Headliner. If you can let us know what color it's in.
I think it's not Stadium Headliner on this. I think it's Star of the Arena, but it's a Japanese translation. I think it's Japanese. It's the guy getting thrown like that.
Right, I'm looking at it.
It's kind of near the. It's next to Storm Scale Scion.
I got you. Yeah. We got a mobilizer 1/1. You can pay a generic and a red. Sacrifice this creature. This creature deals damage to target creature equal to the number of creatures you control. And you're suggesting that this in Wynota or Najeela?
Let's see if did I misspell Stadium or anything?
No, you're fine. This is definitely the card, Will, for sure.
Yeah.
This is definitely the card. It's good. To target creature?
It's just a 1/1 that makes 1/1s every turn. Like,
yeah,
good.
Warrior 1/1s specifically. Yeah. This is
not too good for Winota because Winota cares about the declaration of attack, but fun in Najeela. Quite good in Najeela.
The declaration of attack.
My next card in green, though. Favorite green card that has been printed in years.
Dragonbrood's Relic?
No, it is Nature's Rhythm. X green for sorcery. Search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Also, Harmonize. X green. We already went over Harmonize, so everybody knows what it does. Reason why I love this. 1, you search for a thing, and then you can tap that thing to search for another thing with the Harmonize effect. So if you have enough green, which you're in green, so of course you generate a crap ton of green, you can find 2-card combos with this instantly. There's a ton of 2-card combos that you can find with it in green, and if you add colors, it makes it even easier. This is just a really good card, and you don't even need to play or get both pieces into play on the same turn. You can slow roll it if you need to. But it's just so good. Because also, you can get like Devoted Druid, wait a turn, and then search for X's 4 or less. And then if somebody's like, I killed Devoted Druid, then you just go, okay. Get Hazel's, Hazel's Brew Tender, and then make the food combo for Devoted Druid. If they don't kill Devoted Druid, you get the white creature that says your things can't get -1/-1 counters on them. And then, or if they would get
Devoted.
a -1/-1 counter on them, they get 1 less.
Right.
And then you get infinite mana. So, very good card. This kind of feels like green's equivalent of Ad Nauseam. I like it.
A little bit better in the sense that you can assemble a 2-card combo. Like post infinite mana, you're done. Like if the creature you're bringing into play aids you in making infinite mana, then you can get your outlet at that same instance with the
Someone
harmonize.
brought up a Kiki Jiki comment. Yeah.
What with Nature's Rhythm?
Yeah, getting a Kiki Jiki and Hyrex Tower Scout.
Yeah. Any untapper.
I do also want to bring up the other side of this card. It's you can just play it on the front side as just a generally good card, and then later you can go, okay, play a. I'll keep going to this example as my example. Play Dargo, tap Dargo for the Harmonize, and then pay like one more, get any 8-drop from your deck. Game.
Yeah, I like your Dargo example. Are you gonna use
Dargo's
that?
just like the Harmonized commander.
You think so?
I think it's the biggest thing that I think you get in CDH.
Even without Dockside?
Even without Dockside,
Yeah, I
Dargo's
guess you're still
good
fine.
enough.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I had one final card in green.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it? Yes, one final card in green. And it is.
Oh, this cute dragon.
Not cute dragon. This is a card that people brought up, and I'm going to bring it up for their reason and my reason. But let's see if you're anthrophobic, Patrick, because it's Traveling Botanist, a Dog Scout.
Oh, it's kind of cute art.
Traveling Botanist is 1 and a green for a creature Dog Scout with 2 power and 3 toughness. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put that card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. So, people brought up this card and like this card because they're like, oh, if you can tap this and untap it, you can mill your entire library. I don't care about it for that. It's a little bit of like you can put stuff in your graveyard as well. And
Will likes it. Will likes it because it's Scout Tribal.
I like it because Saya. When you have 84 lands, this just says when it becomes tapped, draw a card.
Are you gonna run it there?
Probably. Maybe not only because I already have so many cards that do the same thing, but maybe.
It's not bad. To be honest, I can't think of any clean combos or play lines for this guy that don't require 3 or more cards. So for that, I can't say it's like the best thing in the world. You're probably better off just finding some infinite mana line with Harmonize, the Rhythm of the Wild.
Also, I do want to say Nature's Rhythm. That is, I think, the
Nature's
last
Rhythm.
tutor to field effect I need for Sasaya. I think the deck is now at like as optimal level as it can be.
Wow, really? Critical mass.
Yeah, critical mass.
Right.
But that is it for my green pile. Did you have something you wanted to bring up, Patrick? Because it sounded like there was maybe a thing.
No. Q Dragon?
Yeah, you said Q Dragon. Oh, I didn't know if that was a thing.
No, I just want to put it on the screen. There's a lot of cute green dragons in this set. Other people get excited for dogs and cats in their sets. I like dragons.
I'm a lizard guy.
I'm a lizard dude. I'm a Naga man myself. Even if they're not called Nagas, I still know they're Nagas. Okay, so Forever Sour. That's it for green, guys. If there's anything in green you'd like to discuss, obviously, take it out of your pocket, put it on the table. We'll assess whether it's real or not, and go from there. Multicolor?
Yeah, multicolor. We're going to start with a fan-requested card. It is Hardened Tactician. We finally made it there. We finally made it. We can talk about the card.
Yeah, I can read it off. It's generic and Orzhov, 2/4 body, human warrior. You could pay 1, sacrifice a token, draw a card.
So people like this card because it's just pay a little bit of mana, sacrifice the random tokens you make, draw cards. It's also really good with Smothering Tithe and other effects like that, like Lotho. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I don't think it's going to see CDH play except for like maybe Lotho specifically, but it's not a horrible card, and it will be pretty freaking good in casual because I can already tell that people are going to go, oh yeah, I'm just going to sack a whole bunch of food and random other tokens to get a bunch of draw.
Right. That's not a bad idea. I mean, like with any of those engines that like mass produce tokens, like the treasure junk, whatever you're gonna do. This isn't bad. I just noticed the one arm in the art. It's very ambiguous, like what's going on with the arm there. I guess they're trying to keep it PG, but dig it.
Next card. This is going to be way down on the list. It is actually. Is it? Did I misorder? I did misorder these. Okay, so I'm going to read this in the proper order. Songcrafter Mage. It is a green, a blue, and a red for a 3/2 creature human bard with flash. When this creature enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains Harmonize until the end of the turn. Harmonize cost equal to the card's cost. Reason why I like this card? It's Snapcaster Mage. But it's Snapcaster Mage that gives cost reduction for the thing that you're going to be playing. In addition to the fact that it lets you do a weird tutor chain thing if you have a big creature in play, like Dargo.
Yeah, exactly. Which you're in the colors for. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're already there.
What I wanted to say is like an example, because I did the math on Discord. If you have a creature with more than 5 power in play, you can, let's say, Finale of Devastation. And you want to get something into play. Instead, you always grab Songcrafter, because then you can Songcrafter your Finale of Devastation in graveyard, and then you can harmonize using your 5 or higher creature with 5 or more power to get something even bigger. So let's say you wanted to get, let's say a 6-drop. That's probably the most perfect example I can give for the math. So you want to find a 6-drop. Usually that would be 2 and then 6 for the finale, so 8 mana. Instead, you can go 5 mana for the Songcrafter, and then pay 2 mana to recast Finale of Devastation from your graveyard, so that's 7 mana instead of 8. Tap the big creature you control, get out your 6-drop. So as long as you have like a creature with high enough power, Songcrafter lets you cheat your creature tutor effects to find bigger things than what you should be able to find. So just having this in your deck is kind of a ritual in your deck. It's good. It is dumb. If you're running a big commander and you're in Teamer, play this.
It's not bad. It's interesting. The flash aspect's cute. I don't know how often that's going to be. It's just you have blue for flicker. Not that you're going to try to reuse it.
I'll say
I kind of wish it was on attack as well, but
well, it does Snapcaster. It's literally Snapcaster, but you're paying 1 more mana and it's more pip intensive. But it itself can be tapped to pay for the thing from your graveyard. So it makes up for the fact that it makes your life harder. But
is this better? A good card. Snapcaster.
I think it's better Snapcaster.
We got Warden of the Grove as a suggested card from green. Let's do a quick little Gand before we move on.
2 and a green for a 2/2 creature Hydra. It says at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on this. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters, it endures X, where X is the number of counters on this creature. Yeah, it's another one of those. When a creature enters under your control, put counters on it effects, but also it can give you an extra body whenever a creature enters your battlefield, so it can do work. It does funny things with Cloudstone Curio as well, because that token enters and then you can bounce the thing and then replay it, so I don't think it's going to be a CDH thing that anybody ever does, but that's a funny thing.
I don't mind it. It's not bad.
You have That's a good casual combo, actually. If you have, like, Rograk in the command zone, you just go, like, I play Rograk, I bounce Rograk, I play Rograk, I bounce Rograk, I play Rograk, I bounce Rograk. I get 243 spirits.
Right. Whenever a creature where X is the number of counters on this creature at the beginning of your end step, you put a... I'm trying to think if there's anything with that statue that bounces itself. Not really. It's a lot of mana intensive. Rograk's definitely the way to go. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I don't know what I would slot it in outside of maybe a list that particularly cares about counter manipulation. I could see this being in like a bracket 3 or under list.
Yeah, it's more of a casual card than anything, but it has utility. I'll also say Stupid card with persist.
Mm,
If you have
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Gwenlindra, you just make people's lives horrible.
I was gonna say that'd be awesome, but making people's lives horrible. Yeah, that could be awesome. All
My
right.
next one is Kaheru Goldkeeper, which I wish this card was legendary. I want it in the command zone. It is a Sultai card. It is 1, a black, a green, and a blue for a 3/3 creature dragon with flying.
I think it's a
Whenever
bug
one
smash.
or more cards leave your graveyard during your turn, you create a treasure token. Renew. 2 black, green, blue. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put 2 +1/+1 counters and a flying counter on target creature. Activate as a sorcery. So this is kind of a pitiless plunder to some extent, except instead of it caring about when stuff dies, it cares about when stuff leaves the graveyard.
Yeah.
There's a couple small combos that people have come up with what is it? The one thing that lets you pay a black and discard a creature to return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. You just go do and get infinite treasure sacks, infinite discard triggers. Not a great combo, but it's a thing. I just like that this card can generate and store a whole lot of mana pretty quickly, but unfortunately, I think the fact that it's not a commander is the real killer on this card for me.
Yeah, Karu and Yathan got it's like stiff armed this set.
Yeah.
They're never gonna make legendary status. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's okay. I like it. I agree. I think that in the 99, would you run this in any body of any deck? Any list that you can
If
imagine
there's
this
like a
in?
Sultai deck I run that wants Pitiless Plunderer to do combo stuff, I probably run this in that deck.
What's the easiest way to make one or more lands leave your graveyard?
Well, it doesn't have to be lands, it could be anything.
That's true.
You can do like probably a Forsaken Miner line with like Goblin Bombardment or something.
I take that. Yeah. I take that. Because the
Um,
treasures aren't tapped, so you can use
yeah,
them.
actually, Altar of Dimension is probably the easier one because that's not color intensive. But my next card, now we're jumping over to colorless. So if anybody has any multicolored cards they want us to cover that are not commanders, put them in the chat. We'll cover them as we're covering colorless. But my first one is Dragonfire Blade. It is 1 colorless for an artifact equipment that says equipped creature has +2/+2 and hexproof from monocolor. Hello, Mateus. I saw Mateus in there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Clint
the Sultai Dragon is.
Lockwood.
I completely forgot about that. Goldkeeper. Going back to that. Necropotence is the dumb thing that you can do with it because you can discard to hand size and each card gets exiled individually and you get like 30 treasures off of that very easily. So if you can cheat that out in a Necropotence turn when you mass draw, you get a ton of treasures and then you can play out the last 7 cards in your hand really well.
Right. I mean, cheating
It's
this out in these colors, it's not difficult.
yeah, it's my issue is like trying to end the game with just 7 cards with like near unlimited mana can be hard, but it's still not a bad line. So good enough, yeah. But going back to Dragonfire Blade.
Yeah, dude, we got another Clint Lockwood art here. I just want to point out the dragon in the background.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so sick.
is that Cloud or is that like an actual dragon?
Nah, it's a cloud, but I mean, mist form dragon. How about that?
Yeah, there we go. No, it's that one dragon previously that you said was Naga the clone.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when he hits the right target.
Indeed. But this gives the equipped creature +2/+2 and hexproof from monocolor, which in CDH is basically just hexproof.
Not bad.
Then equip cost of 4. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each color of the creature it targets. So, in a lot of decks, this is going to be like an equip cost of like 2 or 1. And then it's just give the equipped creature hexproof and +2/+2. That's pretty good.
That's not bad. I like the evasion, and I mean, you know what I mean.
The
It's gonna
protection and
dodge.
the stats are just really nice, and it's on a 1-cost effect, so you could tutor this with Urza Saga, so
Yeah.
it's good. And
Hmm.
my last colorless card, excluding lands, because we can go over lands separately.
Mox Jasper. Just say it.
Yeah, Mox Jasper, broken card with
Dude,
all those 0-mana
it
dragons
looks
in the command zone.
so good.
Yeah, my actual card though is Ugin, Eye of the Storms.
Wait, well, okay. Well, before we look at Ugin, I'm sorry. So you'd think this was a Vulcan Baga card, right? Steve Belladin, dude. Like, do you notice how the background also makes it look like a dragon's eye?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's just so damn good. All right, here we can look at Ugin now.
Ugin is 7 mana for 7 loyalty legendary planeswalker Ugin. When you cast this spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that is 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that costs 1 or more colors.
Damn.
+2, gain 3 life and draw a card. +0, gain 3 colorless mana. -11, search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, shuffle until the end of turn. You may cast those cards without paying their mana cost.
So if you doubling season this,
yeah, you can do doubling season stuff. You can also just use this for a crap ton of removal because this is going to be triggering a lot in a lot of different decks. You can use this as just a draw engine because gaining life and drawing some cards while also protecting your planeswalker is not a bad line. In addition, if this ever ults, the game is probably over because if you're running this in a deck, you are probably also running the One Ring in a deck. And if you are running the One Ring and have Clock of Omen in that deck, when you ult Ugin, you get every artifact from your deck into play for free, and then you are drawing the entire rest of your deck. It's good. That isn't an insta-win ult. The obvious bottleneck of this card is it's 7 mana, but...
yeah, it's 7 mana with 7 loyalty. You need to do the thing 4 times and hope it doesn't get hit. Obviously, there are ways to get around the loyalty counters starting at 7.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn good, though. Like,
but even if you ignore the ult, drawing a card every turn and exiling stuff occasionally is pretty freaking good.
Right. I mean, it's a virtual 4 mana, Will.
You virtual 4 mana, indeed.
It's basically like casting the One Ring. Not quite as good. Not as much draw, but it's still pretty good. I like Oogie. I like the Oogie monster. I've always had a soft spot for the guy ever since my Belby days. And I gotta say, there's some good art for this card. It's in the thumbnail.
Actually, it's pronounced Eugene.
And it's Bell Bay. She prefers Bell Bay as opposed to Belby.
It's actually Nicole Bolas.
Yeah. Watcher of the Wayside. Oh my god.
Hit Mox, Jasper, and Joyra. Get that free draw.
Would you play Ugin and Joyra? Would you play Ugin and Joyra? The answer is
maybe. If you're playing a slower Joyra, you definitely are getting the ramp to get to Ugin, and then you just exile everything.
So my question is, do I play this in Oswald, though?
You can get there with Metalworker pretty easily, so... honestly, it's not bad.
I mean, I play this... I'd probably go 0 and cast a few like cheap colorless spells and exile a bunch of threats. I don't know. It's not bad.
If you ult this in Ugin, let's say you can't do the One Ring line. Let's say Ugin is kind of your backup plan. You ult Ugin and you just assemble an Oswald line. What's like the artifact Oswald line?
Right now?
Oh, it's you just a Metalworker Staff of Domination probably just kind of does it with any of your haste things. So
just make it.
You have artifact lines. You have artifact lines.
Yeah, there's a few too many ways to like win the game, but you're basically trying to storm into any one of them. Glacier Wood Siege.
You should get there.
We'll take a look at Glacier Wood Siege. There's no new lands we need to discuss, right? No, actually, these are
several new lands that we need to discuss.
It's these 5 specifically.
I am going to cover Literally all of them, with the only exception being the Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. That is the only one we're not going over because you know what? I'll go over it because it's very simple and straightforward. Taps for colorless, taps for any color, but you can only use it for dragons and omen spells. Pay 4, tap it and sacrifice it. Search your library for any dragon, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. It's a dragon tutor on a land. Not too noteworthy.
It's not bad.
Now, for the actual noteworthy stuff, and I'm going to go through these in alphabetical order. And
no, go through them in order of best to worst to best.
Worst to best? Okay. The worst one on the list is probably the Great Arashin City. It's a land that taps for black and enters untapped if you control a forest or a plain. So it's the Abzan land. Pay 1 and a black, tap it, exile a creature card from your graveyard, and you make a 1/1 white spirit creature token.
Ooh.
It gives you a 1/1 body if you pay a bit and you exile a card from your graveyard. A specific type of card, which is why it's the worst.
I don't know, man. It seems really good to me. You get a 1/1 for 2 mana.
Keep sacking your 0/1 thralls, Patrick.
Just do that instead.
Next we have Dalkoven Encampment. This is the white one. It enters untapped if you have a swamp or a mountain, so it's the Mardu one. You can pay 2 and a white, and whenever you attack this turn, create 2 1/1 red warrior creature tokens that enter tapped and attacking. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. So it's the mobilize effect on a land. Just like how the other one was the endure on a creature, or it's endure 1. This just gives you a couple bodies that hit. If you care about sacking bodies, cool, it's fine. It's not really relevant.
Not really.
Let's say one is
green is probably next.
Yeah, green is next. And this is the Sultai one because it enters untapped if you have a swamp or an island. And it says pay 3 and a green, tap, surveil 2. You're getting a little bit of deck fixing. You're filling your graveyard up a little bit. This card has some utility by the fact that it's just an untapped green source.
Okay value. Okay value, too high cost. I get that green's the color of ramp, but damn, 4?
I mean, like, if you're in a bad spot, sure, you'll activate it, but Am I playing this in Sasaya? Probably, just because it's another land with a utility effect, but
It's going to enter tapped, Will.
Yeah, I don't care. Oh no, I have 1 less mana. I tap for 25.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I feel like we're going to talk about the blue one. Talk about the red one next.
We're talking about my man Corey, Mountain Monastery.
Yeah, it's a hill giant.
Yeah, it is the Jeskai one, because it's plains or island, makes it enter untapped, and it taps for a red. Pay 3, pay a red, tap it, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. It's a draw 1. It's impulse draw 1 in red. Good.
4 mana, my guy. 4 mana. Only this. It's interesting how the 2 decent ones have flavor text, but none of the other ones do.
Yeah, they knew which ones people were going to play.
Yeah, give you some flavor. We'll give you
Finally,
a little bit more flavor
the
with
blue
that
one. Because, of course, the blue one had to have the best one. Now, thankfully, the blue one is not linked with black. The blue one cares if you have... It's Teamer. It cares if you have a mountain or a forest.
You're making it sound like it's difficult, Will. You're making it sound like it's going to be difficult for the blue player.
Either of those colors. You'd be willing to run this in a mono blue deck. You'd be willing to run this in a Dimir deck. What does it do? Pay it 1 blue, tap it. The next spell you play this turn can't be countered. It is a counterspell land.
That taps for blue.
That taps for blue. Dumb choice. This should have been like 3 mana to activate, or
right.
Yeah, 3 mana at like the very minimum.
I mean, there are effects that do this. Obviously, Boseiju exist.
But Boseiju is removal on a land. This is repeatable counterspell on a land.
No, Boseiju who...
Oh, no, yeah.
Shelters all.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
so like it's pay 2 life, and you pay 2 life, and then add generic. If this mana is spent to cast an instant or sorcery spell, that spell can't be countered this turn. So obviously that we do have a clear 1-to-1 with this, except it's the next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. It's like, I don't know, man.
I will say it in this way to make it as clear as possible. You can play Thassa's Oracle, and then you can protect your demonic consultation after Thassa's Oracle resolves. And we are probably going to be seeing that frickin' everywhere. Because guess what? This land enters untapped in Grixis because you have mountains.
It's pretty good, Will. It's funny, like, I don't know. How long have I ran this channel? It's been years. We've been talking about this game for years. And historically, like time and time again, if there's a cycle of something,
Blue is the best one.
White's gonna be ass. Green is probably gonna be mid. Black is okay.
Yeah,
Red's
Black
been
is
getting
hit or
better.
miss. Black is hit or miss.
But God, if they don't just give blue the fucking keys to the car every single time, they're like, you know what? Take it for a spin. Do the thing you want to do. Don't worry about other players. This is solitaire, my friend. You get to do the thing you want to do this weekend. It's like, it's so stupid. I don't understand where they. I don't understand. I just did they actually play games and were like, yeah, this is balance.
Legitimate question. Why didn't they make it so that red had the effect that blue has, considering the fact that red has had several cards that say your next spell can't be countered?
Yeah.
And then why didn't they give blue red's effect but make it draw instead of impulse draw?
Right.
That would have been reasonable.
Right. I mean, Overmaster is a pretty good example, and I think it was a way of getting around assholes countering your shit all the time. But instead they're like, you know what? I really do think that should have been blue. It's so stupid, man. Mistrise Village. Buy a fucking Mistrise Village Mile is the best between all of these. Nothing else costs 1 mana to do the effect. They're all like 2 to 3 to 4, and this guy's like, nah, I'm not gonna spend that mana. I gotta hold this mana for I have to hold this mana for counters in case something else happens. It's like, stop. It's so stupid, man.
Because the dumb thing is, what type of mana are you going to be keeping up on your turn anyways? Blue mana. So you can just keep this up as interaction mana or super interaction mana.
Yeah.
But to put it simply, if you're going to buy anything from the set, buy Voice of Victory, buy
Mistrise Village,
Nature's Rhythm, and then buy Mistrise Village. Those
I
are
would
like
say
the 3. Yeah. If you're feeling spicy, Songcrafter Mage.
Yeah, 100% though. Those 3. I think we could probably start leaving these set reviews with that advice. I know not everyone's going to attend a pre-release, and a lot of people just want to pick up singles for their decks. Green got a good new tutor. Blue got a land, and
White got another Grand Abolisher.
A little bit of everyone got that. Because you're probably going to splash that into decks. I don't know if Mono White necessarily has a list that wants to run that. Also, don't forget about Clarion Conquer. It's gonna be a good card too. But I will say that what we'll set to prioritize is definitely accurate. And Lotus Light Dancers, we can take a look at that, guys. If there's any other cards you want us to look like for our cosplay session or look at before we close out, please let us know. And if we rank those lands accurately, let us know if we did that. Because I'd hate to think that I threw White under the bus for no reason.
Happens it's
every
a toss-up
year.
Between which one is worse of white or black. It's 50-50 depending on who you ask.
Lotus Light Dancers. Where is the camera for their TikTok? 2 generic and Saltai? 3/6. Thanks. Zombie Bard. Oh shit, Gravecrawler combo. Lifelink. There's zombies? They look really good for zombies.
They look really good for 485.
Yeah. Yeah, don't they look what's their routine? You know what? I think I'm going to start following their TikTok. When this creature enters, search your library for a black card, a green card, and a blue card. I'm sorry, you can't search that land. Put those cards into your
Yes, you can.
graveyard.
Dried Arbor. Let's go.
All right.
Is that green? Hold on.
No, it does have a color identity pip.
Oh yeah, because it's green Sun Zenith. That's the whole dumb thing. So yes, it's green.
But I was saying the new blue land. Yeah, okay, search the blue land with this. Put those cards into your graveyard, then shuffle. So for 5 mana, you get a buried alive attached to a body. They've attained a level of synchronicity beyond what's possible in a single lifetime. Wow, it's like they studied the art form of dancers. They know. They know. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's good with Displacer Kitten in Muldrotha. Yeah. Yeah, you're obviously not going to try to cast this for 5. It's a little pip intensive. I think you're going to want to use this as reanimate target.
All right, so let's see. It does not say creatures, so it's not. It's a little bit better than buried alive potentially. What is the pile?
Give me the pile, Will. Don't you wish Savine's Reclamation was a part of this pile?
I know. Well, I mean, you have Dread Return. Dread Return can be part of the pile.
Before we close this one out, Lotus Light Dancers, give us your dream pile. What black, green, and blue card are you grabbing to make victory? I can't think of anything that, like, I'm sure there's like some cheeky Dread Return business. Dread Return, Protean Hulk. No. Like, don't go that hard.
I don't think there's any soul combo.
You don't think there's a 3-card combo with any black, any green, any blue card? There's gotta be.
That plays from the graveyard, no. But
yeah, I know.
Like, because you could go Dread Return, you can go Druid's Repository, something like that to get back stuff from the graveyard. So you could try to go for like Thoracle lines or something like that, but Thoracle's iffy. You could Dread Return Hermit Druid with Thoracle already in the graveyard and then find some other way to get back Thoracle. It's just not there.
Dude, all those lifetimes working on their synchronicity, and still they failed tryouts. It's kind of sad. They're also bards. Why are they zombie bards as opposed to dancers? They're literally called dancers.
Yeah, well, I don't think dancer is a card type. And that's probably the only reason why.
Yeah, well, neither was snake over naga until they decided to poo-poo on everyone's parade. Well, no, I hear you. Bards aren't technically dancers. I mean, they're entertainers.
Maybe they have like the chains and like stuff to make it so that it makes sound when they dance. So it's supposed to be like melodic dancing. That is actually a thing. So maybe, I don't know.
Rakshasa's Bargain? No? Okay, no one. Alright guys, I think that's it for the set. Again, we got a handful of decent cards, 3 really good ones, and I will say really good. I do think that the blue land is auto-include into every blue deck. Will was joking, even monocolor. I don't even know if he probably even put it in monocolor. It's still pretty good in monocolor.
You would be willing to put a tap land in mono blue if it said none of my stuff gets counterspelled from here on out.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've been having a rough time with all those blue spells.
We did get one more card brought up, which is Glacier Wood Siege. It's a multicolored card, and it's the choice enchantment between Teamer and Sultai. If you want to be Teamer, then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills 4. If you pick Sultai, then you may play land cards from your graveyard. This was brought up to be an Underworld Breach combo card, because if you have any 0-mana self-sacking thing or anything that you can loop from your graveyard, you mill your entire deck with Underworld Breach. Blueberg Zur, let's go.
This is off of...
it's not non-creature. That's off of instant and sorcery to mill 4.
No.
It can still do stuff. It's just not as good as I initially said.
Right. So Glacierwood Siege with Underworld Breach is interesting. Yeah, you get a little bit more value. I think obviously if you're running Underworld Breach makes it you just do the thing. So like if you have a Brain Freeze, I guess Brain Freeze will probably by the time you get to it do enough. But Blue Land is cracked. Yes, Lotus Light Dancers. I mean it's good with split. Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All of the above. Glacierwood Siege. We got it. Strike it rich. Strike it rich. What? Oh, is that one of your
Oh yeah,
cards?
that's the card you can loop with a Glacier Wood Siege to mill
Right.
your entire deck. Fair,
Right.
that works. But yeah, that's every relevant card from the set, give or take a few, depending on what people care about. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you want to get any of these cards, use the TCG player affiliate link down below. And if you want to chat about any of these cards, I think we have the Discord link down there. I don't know if we did it this
It's
time.
true. No,
We
it's
did
true.
do it, yes.
It's true.
Patrick's on top of everything.
That's right. That's right. Last minute changes, last minute reviews. I hope it was useful. I hope you liked it. I hope we covered more than the one that Watsy put out. I saw that, and then I realized, Will, that your theory about the full set being out was true. I don't know how long that video is. It's probably much shorter than ours. So watch that instead if you want to get the deets on maybe what to do in a limited environment. But if you're playing for Commander, definitely share this with a friend. And hopefully we can all talk about this set together and find more cards to play from it. Obviously, we don't talk about too many niche playables. So if there's something in here that you think is worthwhile in a deck you play, let us know. Do let
If
us
you
know.
play Tashar and you think that we finally hit critical mass on Tashar's self-bouncing effects with that Sunpearl Kirin, let us know.
Maybe. I mean, Glint Hawk is like the bottom line, I guess, for that deck. It's maybe like the. It's been a while since I played Tashar, but I did like Glint Hawk in that deck quite a bit. It wasn't.
Sunpearl Kirin is Flash Glinthawk, but one more
Yeah,
mana.
one more
And
mana.
can theoretically be a draw engine for you, because if you bounce a token, instead you draw a card.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It depends on what you're doing. We're not. I don't think we're generating too many tokens. That's not true. You can generate tokens with some shenanigans. Anyway, guys, we'll see you on the next one, which will probably be tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll give you a little bit more breathing room. We'll see. Probably tomorrow morning. We'll talk after this. Well, see you guys.